Okay guys, today in lab you're going to be learning about percent composition and what a hydrate is and what an anhydrate is. So a hydrate is a compound that is bonded with water. In this lab we're going to be dealing with copper 2 sulfate pentahydrate. And we're going to be dealing with something called an anhydrate. Okay, an anhydrate means that you've driven the water off. So what you're going to need for this lab are safety glasses, crucible lid, crucible tongues, Bunsen burner tubing, support stand, ring stand, and clay triangle and a striker. Now, as we go through the steps of this lab, we have our basic ring stand support that we've used for a couple labs. We do not have to clean the crucible for 10 minutes because we're using a brand new crucible. So you can skip down to this step right here. Okay, once you have everything set up. And so as you go through this, make sure that you're paying attention to the video and the calculations for the data sheet. Now, as you're going through the lab, make sure you're following along with the steps, starting at step 6 and going through the end. I'll come back with another video at the end of the lab to go over the calculations. So this is going to be the percent composition lab. We're going to be dealing with copper 2 sulfate pentahydrate. Okay, and as you can see, it's a bright blue crystal. Now from lecture what we learned is that hydrates contain water, and whenever we drive the water off it's called an anhydrous solid, okay, or an anhydrate. So as we start this lab we're going to be using a clay triangle and Bunsen burner setup. We're going to be using something called a crucible. So a crucible, porcelain dish, it is made up of a lid. It looks like that. Okay, so that's what we're going to be heating up the hydrate in. Okay, so starting with our lab, we're going to start by weighing a clean crucible and lid. Okay, so it's important that we weigh it like that. Okay, so it has a mass of 26.18 grams. Now, from there, it says we're going to measure out 3.5 to 4 grams of our hydrate. So we're going to do that. What I did is I tarred the balance and I measured out 4.02 grams of copper 2 sulfate pentahydrate. Now, what we're going to do from here is we're going to transfer it to the crucible. Like that. And we're going to place it on the clay triangle. Okay, so what we need to do from here is we need to vent the crucible just like that, a small little vent so it can escape. Now, words of advice whenever we're heating a crucible up, the crucible is going to heat up rather quickly, so we don't touch the crucible once we light it. What we're going to do is we're going to heat the crucible for about 15 minutes. We need to make sure that it's vented so the steam can escape. And so we're just going to sit here and wait for 15 minutes and we'll come back and see what it looks like. So after 15 minutes of heating, we're going to turn the heat off. And then we're going to take a look at what our anhydrate looks like. So I'm going to take my crucible tongs and I'm going to carefully grab the lid. And so see, the white and the blue color has been driven off, so that's a characteristic of an anhydrate. Okay, so they use anhydrates in gel products, silica gel products, so that if they change color to like a blue or a green or some characteristic of the hydrate, that we know that water is present. Okay, so we're going to let it cool off for about 5 minutes and then we're going to come back and wait. After the Crucible has sufficiently cooled off. We're able to move it to the scale to weigh it. And so the mass of the anhydrate and the mass of the crucible is going to be 28.72. Okay, going over the calculations for your percent composition lab. Number one is the mass of the empty crucible and lid. I gave you a note in the video where to put that. Mass of the crucible, lid, and the hydrate is going to be number 3 plus number 1. Okay, so there's a point in the video that says you need to write number 3 down, so you need to write number 3 down there. The mass of the crucible, lid, and anhydrate is the final mass of the crucible and what you've got after you have heated the hydrate up. Okay, the mass of the anhydrate. The way you get the mass of the anhydrate is you're going to take number 4 and you're going to subtract number 1 from it. Okay, so it's number 4 minus number 1. Okay, number 6 is going to be number 3 minus number 5. Once again, number 6 is going to be number 3 minus number 5. And to find the mass percent of water in the hydrate is you take the, you're going to find the percent of the water. So it's going to be number 6 over number 3 times 100. And you should get a certain percentage. I'll let you see what you get there. Okay, general observations. What was the appearance of the hydrated salt crystals before heating? We should be able to look at those crystals and tell me what color they were. What was the appearance after? Okay, after heating. And then we've talked about this in the lab. Okay, and then on the back, you're going to have 5% composition questions. Just wanted to point out on the last question, when we've done percent composition in class, we count the total number. Well, you have N in 2 spots right here. So you have 2 N's, okay? 4 hydrogens and 3 oxygens. So make sure you catch that. Thanks and have a good day.